Whoa, I actually have the same favorite show as last time. So my favorite show didn't change in between videos. Granted, that's mainly because I'm talking about the same show, and even the same season, just the second half of the season. So in a way, that's kind of cheating. But still, I have the same favorite show. Until the next video I make. Anyway, hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today, well, you already know what we're talking about because you read the title, saw the thumbnail, and heard me say that. We are talking about none other than Wednesday Season 2, Part 2. That being Wednesday Season 2, episodes 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I'm not trying to, like, count you down for, like, a song or something. That's literally the episodes. That was Part 2 of the show. Part 1 was 1, 2, 3, 4. Part 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are going to talk about them here, and so I want to say this though right off the bat. There is a lot in this season, even with just these back 4 episodes. There is a lot going on, so there's a very good chance that I'm going to forget about certain things I want to talk about. So it's possible I add stuff in the comments, or I make a follow-up video. I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to try my best to talk about everything that I at least want to talk about. So we'll see. Kind of like with the first half of Season 1, I wrote notes based off of episodes. Although last time I started that way and then I didn't go that way completely. I kind of just did my own thing. That's why I write notes. I don't do like full scripts for reviews because I go off on tangents like I am right now. So I'll shut up and get to the reviews because this is going to be a long video probably, and I don't want to make it longer. I gotta shut up. Get to what I need to talk about. Alright. Oh, and I almost forgot, there will be major spoilers for all of Wednesday Season 2 in this video, so if you haven't seen it yet, click away and come back after you've seen it. I'll give you 4 more seconds to click away. Now let's dive into some spoilers. Alright, Wednesday Season 2, let's start off with Principal Weems is back. No, she's not alive again, but she is back. It starts off where we see that she's now Wednesday's new spirit guide. Side tangent already. We see that Wednesday's not dead. Shocker, I know. It's almost like she's the title character, and this is the second half of the second season, and we know that Season 3 is coming. So I kind of thought they should have picked a better. They could have picked a better cliffhanger to go between Part 1 and 2. Because no offense, you being like, oh no, Wednesday's gonna die. Not that big of a cliffhanger to me because I know she's gonna survive. It would have been more of a cliffhanger if it was someone else like Enid, who has the vision of dying, which we're going to talk more about later. Back to Principal Weems, though. She's back as Wednesday's spirit guide, and they come up with this excuse of her being like her 15th cousin removed or something like that, something crazy like that. It does kind of feel like, it definitely feels like they retcon this just so we can get Principal Weems back in the show. However, I'm going to forgive it just because I actually really enjoyed her character in this season, and I really enjoyed her in Wednesday's back and forth, being snarky to each other, but also being helpful to each other. So, let's talk about, real quick, we're going to talk about the patient that Wednesday saved in Part 1, where I was making guesses. I thought maybe that would be her aunt, but no, it ends up being Tyler's mom, which was kind of shocking. I was like, I wasn't expecting Tyler's mom, because I thought the story with her being gone in the first season was really good, and I didn't think they were gonna go much more into that. But no, they did. It's Tyler's mom, and that's kind of crazy. That was kind of cool. And then this goes into a huge storyline with the zombie here. So the zombie who Pugsley named Slurp, and we later learn is actually Isaac, who is Tyler's mom's brother. I don't remember Tyler's mom's name, so I'm probably just going to call her Tyler's mom this entire video. So, but we learned that Slurp is actually Tyler's mom's brother, so Tyler's uncle, which I was not expecting. I think, and this is kind of proof that I think they did something really well, because I won't lie, throughout Part 1 of Season 2, I didn't really care about this storyline that they had with Pugsley and Slurp. I didn't really care. I was just like, maybe this will tie into something later, because I did think, well, this might tie into something later on, and then maybe I might care about the storyline a bit more. But at the time, it was just Slurp kills people because Pugsley refuses to tell anybody because he wants a friend. Didn't really care. But then he slowly evolved more and more human, and then we got the reveal of who he was. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. They just turned the side plot storyline that I didn't really care about, and made it something important, and it becomes like the main focal point of the story, which is kind of funny because it's kind of funny how they kind of abandoned the Raven Killer, and they move right into this one. And speaking of the Raven Killer, we'll just jump into it. They do reveal that the Raven Killer has been killed by Slurp and Tyler's mom. Or Isaac and Tyler's mom. I should probably find out what Tyler's mom's name is instead of just calling Tyler's mom all the time. Hold on, give me a sec. So, I'm pretty sure I'm saying the name right. Tyler's mom is Francoise. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but we're going to go with it. Anyway, yeah, we find out that they're related. It becomes this big story, and it becomes really the main storyline of Season 2, Part 2, is Francois Tyler, who is out and about now, and ends up reuniting with his mom and uncle, apparently. And that becomes like the main focal point of the story. So I did think that was interesting that they brought that storyline that I didn't really care about into this. All right, so next up we're gonna go into something that mainly for the next episode, because we're going into something that happens in this episode that was surprisingly really well done. That being the body swap. They did this thing where Wednesday and Enid swapped bodies because Wednesday's trying to get her visions back because she lost them. One of the things she does is she goes to the grave of Lady Gaga. Well, Lady Gaga plays the character. I don't know the name of the character, so I'm just calling her Lady Gaga. Goes to Miss Gaga's tomb, and it's this magical thing, and blah, 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 blah. She takes her eye off the raven or whatever, meaning that there's going to be a punishment, and that punishment is none other than Enid and Wednesday swapping bodies. And let me just tell you, I feel like that's something that could be risky. It's like, well, we've seen body swap stuff before. It's done a lot. Sometimes it's not very good. It was done like great in this episode. I thought the body swap was actually great. So first of all, apparently, this shows off how good of an actress both Jenna Ortega and Emma Myers are, because holy crap, they did such an amazing job playing these different characters who are drastically different from the characters that they are used to playing. Because so the problem with body swap stories is that there's often times where they'll do a body swap story and you can forget that they swapped bodies. Like, it's not obvious enough that they swap bodies because normally I think it could be a number of things, but like the acting has to be really good, and sometimes they just act too similar to the original character. This is not the case. Their acting is so freaking good, and they act completely different. I was fully bought in. There was no confusing. I was fully bought in. This is Wednesday, and this is Enid now. Jenna Ortega is now Enid. Emma Myers is now Wednesday. They do such an amazing job at portraying this. Jenna Ortega, who we're so used to seeing be dark and serious, is now all of a sudden colorful and happy and cheery. And opposite for the other way around, Emma Myers, who we're used to seeing happy and cheery and colorful, is now dark and serious. And it's so well done. Even with like the mannerisms of how they talk, because I can't really explain it. I don't know what the words to use to explain it, but I feel like you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the show. Which, I mean, you probably should have, because I'm spoiling everything for you. And if you didn't watch it, what's wrong with you? Why are you watching a spoiler review when you haven't watched it yet, when this show's good and you have to go watch it? Anywho, back to what I was saying. Because of the way that even they talk, like how Wednesday talks, it's a bit like more dour and serious and quieter. But when Enid talks, it's way more like hyper and giddier. I don't know the right words to be using. So even when they switch, they even sound different. So there is no confusion whatsoever of who is Wednesday and who is Enid, and it is done great. Still with the body swap, because it also does a great job with the story. So not only does it let us see something cool, fun, and different with these characters, but also it helps them understand each other better. Enid has a better understanding of Wednesday and comes to be even more connected with her, and vice versa. Wednesday now understands Enid a bit more and understands her side even more, and they come closer. And she even knows what it's like to woof out, because technically she does woof out. So even now Wednesday even knows what it's like to woof out. However, something I'm not the biggest fan of this is also how they concluded the death of Enid storyline. Okay, oh, that's not really the death of Enid. Although, because that was like my favorite storyline of the first half of the season, of this lingering threat. Like, Wednesday had a vision of the future. Her visions have come true, and her vision was Enid dies, and it's Wednesday's fault. And then throughout the season, even the episode before this, we're like, at least I was at the edge of my seat, like, oh my goodness, anything could kill Enid at this point. The Raven Killer goes after her. Oh my goodness, is the Raven Killer going to kill Enid? Tyler goes after her. Oh my goodness, is Tyler going to kill Enid? Like, I was at the edge of my seat, like, oh my goodness, Enid could die, and I'd be more worried about them. I could see them killing Enid way more like I could see them killing off Wednesday, because Enid's not the title character. And also with Agnes, they could, if they wanted to keep it to a duo, they could have killed Enid and had Agnes be the new duo, which would not have been as good. And also, which no offense to Agnes, we'll talk way more about her character later because I love her character. But you know, it's Enid and Wednesday. They're the rides or die. It's them. They're the duo. But yeah, well, trio. I'd throw Thing in there. Thing, who I'll also talk more about. So yeah, it's But what I was going with this is that they apparently reveal that what was going to kill Enid was the body swap. So I'm not remembering everything complete. I watched the show, the second half, over a good portion of time just because, you know, I've been busy. So I'd watch episodes whenever I could, and so I would watch an episode. Day would go by, watch the second episode, and 2 days would go by, third episode, a couple more days would go by, and so on and so forth. And I finally got to making this video. Don't even know when you're going to see this video, by the way. Through whatever, this body swap was actually going to be a thing that killed Enid if they didn't fix it before a certain time. And that was what's going to kill Enid. So when they swap back, before that the time limit hits, Enid is safe, and Wednesday has a new vision of an Addams dying instead of Enid Sinclair, which I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of how they decided to do that. I would have much preferred if it was something else, like maybe it's because of the fact that it was a body swap thing that was like gonna kill her. I think it would have been so much cooler if there was like some sort of like action climactic scene with where Tyler was just what comes like inches away from killing Enid, and then Wednesday maybe saves her, and then after they win that battle, Wednesday has a vision, Enid lives, but now when Addams dies. But instead, I didn't mean to do that. I'll be Steve until she comes back. But instead, it was the fact that it was this crystal body swap, which I guess makes sense because you could argue that it was Wednesday's fault. And that was the whole thing of this, is that it was Wednesday's fault that Enid's gonna die. But to me, I just feel like it was a little underwhelming to have that be what was gonna kill off Enid. And then it also, it being the most interesting storyline throughout the part 1 is resolved during episode 6, which is the second episode of part 2. So that just felt kind of underwhelming. I feel like they could have done something a bit cooler, maybe even more threatening, because of us being at the edge of our seats. Like, oh, like I just think they could have had so many, like, even more jaw drop, you feel your heart stop moments of, oh my goodness, Enid was seconds away from dying, and we saw the vision. So she dies in the future. That it just could have been so much cooler. Now I still like this storyline. Like, I'm not saying, well, that ruined the entire storyline for me. No, I still did, and it's still my favorite storyline probably of the season. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just a dark person. I enjoy seeing one friend having a vision of their friend dying and trying their best to protect them, I guess. I don't know. I'm just dark, I guess. Okay, that's why I like this show. But I really enjoyed the storyline overall. And speaking of the storyline, even how I really like how Enid found out about it too, because while they were body swapped, Agnes, because she likes to spy, she spies on Wednesday, learned about the vision of Enid's death. So when they body swap and Agnes doesn't know it right away, when she's talking with Enid, she brings up the fact like, oh, is this about your vision of Enid dying? And since Enid is in Wednesday's body, Enid as Wednesday's like, wait, what? Enid's gonna die? I thought that was so well done, and so I did really enjoy that. Now, speaking of, I feel that's a pretty good pivot to Agnes, because they made Agnes's character even better in part 2. So, because Agnes was first introduced as just a fangirl at first, and then we found out that this fangirl of Wednesday is Wednesday's stalker as well, and she continues to be this creepy stalker fan, but she didn't have too much more character-wise other than being kind of fun, a fun character who I actually did really enjoy. And I talked more about her being the stalker in the review part 1 if you want more thoughts on that, because I did dive really into thoughts there. But this is post her finding out that she's the stalker. We get even more about her character, which makes me like the character even more, because we get more emotion with her character too. Let me see if I have some stuff written down here, because there's a scene where Enid as Wednesday yells at Agnes because Enid still hates Agnes for a number of reasons. One, kind of like trying to steal her best friend, and two, almost killing Enid, which is another thing that was like, oh my goodness, this could be the death of Enid because of we saw the vision. I almost forgot about that for some reason there, even though it was like one of my favorite parts of the season. Anywho, so she actually, when she does this, and Agnes doesn't know at the moment that it is Enid who she also hates because of being Wednesday's friend, not Wednesday. And then she just kind of gets really upset and she turns invisible. And like, even I felt the feels. It's like, oh, poor Agnes. She's a creepy stalker fangirl, but it kind of hit me in the feels there. And even later, a later scene, even in a later scene, because Thing tells Enid that he's actually attending a therapist group, or a therapy group. I'm probably using the wrong name for it, I'm sorry. But, you know, one where a bunch of dismembered body parts get together. A support group, I think that's what it's called, to just talk and to talk about what they're going through. And the leader of it is Christopher Floyd's head. And they did this sweet thing too, where they're talking about it. Thing does his thing, but then Agnes appears, and I believe I wrote down the exact line too here. Let me see if I got it. She goes, I know I'm not a body part, but the sign said all are welcome. And Christopher Floyd says, and they are. And Agnes takes a seat and she explains. And that scene also just kind of hit me in the feels a little. It's just like, oh, dang, that's powerful, man. That's good. That's good. And they add so much more emotion to her character with her wanting a friend, with her, and they dive in how even at Nevermore, a school for outcasts, she feels like they dive into how Agnes feels like an outcast in a school of outcasts. Although they're kind of doing something similar with Pugsley's character. Now I'm saying that out loud, so maybe Agnes and Pugsley could have been friends. But just saying that out loud, that sounds kind of similar to what Pugsley was going through. But how even with the school outcast, she feels invisible even when she's not invisible, and that was really well done. I feel like that was good. I love the added emotion to her character that they did here, and they made me like her character even more. In this episode too, Agnes also finds Isaac, follows Isaac and Fiona. I already forgot Tyler's mom's name. Dang it. Follows them after seeing Isaac kill Christopher Floyd's head, which to me, I was just like, no, I liked Christopher Floyd in this. Why did you have to kill him? And dude, the way they kill Christopher Floyd off, what you see, because they show you the remains, oh my goodness, that was dark. That was messed up. That was, I mean, kind of cool. But I was like, dang, that's how you're going to kill off Christopher Lloyd? That's messed up. But yeah, but then Agnes and Enid go to save Agnes and Enid. Enid and Wednesday go to save Agnes, and this is where Agnes does find out, oh, you two swapped bodies. So me and Wednesday are still besties. And what I've noticed too is that Wednesday didn't correct Agnes. Unless I'm remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. When Agnes goes, oh, to Wednesday, oh, so we're still friends. Wednesday didn't go, no, we're not, like she probably normally would. So, interesting. I really like that. Like, nice character development. And also in this episode, they have this awesome moment where they bring this full circle, because if you remember in the season 1, we have the scene where Enid goes, Well, I just asked myself, WWWD, what would Wednesday do? And then even earlier on in part 1 of this season, Agnes goes, I just asked myself, WWWD, what would Wednesday do? And Enid goes, that's my thing. And then Wednesday brings the full circle here, and she goes, I just asked myself, what would Enid do? And that was like, that was so good. I love it. I love when TV shows, movies, books, I don't care, any story does full circle moments, brings stuff back around. I love it so much. And them bringing back that small little line that was really just a joke. Really, all 3 of the times it's used here is just a joke. But I don't care, even if it's a joke and they bring it back around, I love it. So what would Wednesday do? What would Enid do? Love it. Now in season 3, we're gonna get what would Agnes do? It's gonna happen, right? Maybe, possibly. We'll see. But yeah, I just love that. Love it. Alright, so I talked a lot about that episode 6 and the body swapping and Agnes. Trying to move on. What do we have next here? Right here we have Morning Song and the new principal, whose name I forget, the guy who played Randall, the new principal. So we find out, because we also have this side plot going along with Bianca and her mother hiding from Gideon and New Song, and then we find out that Steve Buscemi, I forget the character's name, the new principal, is the one who actually started New Song and just used Gideon. That way he could stay hidden. And I thought that was a pretty good reveal. That's pretty kind of cool. Because we also have this dangling plot thread from season 1. Although I feel like they did kind of like skip over stuff, because at the end of season 1 it was like Bianca's mom is trying to get her to join. And now when we pick up season 2, they're hiding from Gideon and the New Song. But this was really cool to see them continue this storyline here with this. And I knew not to trust him, by the way. The new principal, Steve Buscemi. I was like, I do not trust him. There's something off with. I didn't guess that he would be the leader of New Song, but I thought he would be involved with, like, the zombie or the Raven Killer or something like that. But I was right not to trust him. I was right, just saying. We also learned that there was a connection between Isaac and Tyler's mom and the Addams. Isaac and Gomez were best friends and roommates at Nevermore, which was a fun reveal. And we do get this storyline, which I'm going to kind of go out of order episode-wise, but chronologically, because we get little bits of the flashback throughout the next couple episodes. But like we learn different things, like how Isaac has been trying to get rid of the hide within Tyler's mom. That way she doesn't have to deal with it, because she doesn't want to be a hide anymore. And he was going to do it when they were in Nevermore, because Gomez actually did used to have lightning powers like Fester and like Pugsley does now. He was going to use him to extract it, but he was stopped just in time. It took away Gomez's powers, but he survived it, even though Isaac already dug his grave, knowing that he wasn't going to. It caused the explosion, which was actually the cause for that story that was told at the beginning of season 2. So that was kind of cool how they brought that back around. And killing Isaac, and also causing him to want to get revenge on the Addams. We also see, too, that... So in this episode, going back to Steve Buscemi's character, I believe this is the episode where they do stop him. We actually see that he actually kills off Gideon in a very brutal, violent way. So he uses his, like, flame powers. He like goes to like shake it. Was it a handshake or a hug? I forget exactly. But he makes contact with him, and then he lights him on fire and burns him alive, and then throws him his burned remains into the fireplace right in front of Bianca, mind you. I was just like, oh my gosh, they went there with this season. I love it. But no, seriously, that was like, dang, that was dark and intense. So, and it definitely makes it like, yeah, this guy's got to be stopped. This guy's a monster. He's got to be stopped. And then they tie in Wednesday with this storyline much more, as this is kind of like the climax of this Morning Song side story, where he uses makes Bianca Siren, Wednesday's grandmama, into donating her huge fortune to Nevermore Academy. But when they go to this gala, they do come up with a plan to stop him. Her and Bianca work together, which, before we get to the gala, we have a scene where Bianca and and Wednesday fence, and I was like, it was kind of cool because like, oh, here's our round 2 from season 1, except now things are different. Where again, I love this character arc here where Bianca and Wednesday were like mortal enemies in the first season, but here I'm not sure if you'd call them friends or not, but they're not enemies. In fact, Wednesday's trying to help Bianca. So I just really love that character arc. That's one of the things I love too. Is just when dynamics like that change from enemies to friends. So it's really cool to see. Again, it kind of almost like a full circle because their rivalry kind of kick-started with the fencing match, and now they're fencing again, but as friends, or I'm not sure friends is the right word still, because they're not like Enid and Wednesday, but you know, still. But so we get to the gala. They have this plan, and while we're at the gala, we get a new dance scene, which was actually done pretty well. It has, instead of Wednesday, it's Enid and Agnes who are doing so 2 of them this time around are doing a dance to a song that I don't remember the name of, but they do this dance here, which is also actually part of their plan, because Agnes's one part goes invisible, and then she's able to sneak off to Steve Buscemi and steal his whatever it was, charm necklace, whatever it was that makes him immune to the siren song. And yeah, the dancing was pretty good, although I can't help but wonder if it's only there because season 1's dance just went crazy viral for some reason. I don't know how that's even how that happened, and I don't even see this one going viral. Maybe we need to give it more time, but you know, but it was still really well done dancing, where the choreography was like great. And then their plan continues. So Bianca's able to siren song Steve Buscemi and make him tell everybody the truth, which he does. Yet he confesses to trying to steal Grandmama's fortune, and to being a villain, and to being the leader of Morning Song. He tries to take Bianca captive, but then Xavier, wrong character, sorry. But then Ajax takes off his hat and stones Steve Buscemi, and then because he shot his flames up to the sky, a chandelier falls down, crushing and killing Steve Buscemi. So no justice for him, just death. That works. It's one less threat to deal with. So yeah. I also really enjoyed Ajax's characters out this season. He has a storyline with both Bianca and Enid, with Enid having this new boyfriend, but then she ends up not with the new boyfriend. Ajax helps out Bianca throughout this her side plot here, and then by the time we get to the show, Ajax and Enid, while not a couple anymore, still are friends, which I enjoyed. That was fun to see. I liked it. Trying to move on here, and then I also wrote down here, because this is where we start getting finally interactions between Eugene and Wednesday, and to me I was just like, finally, because one of my favorite parts about Wednesday season 1 was Wednesday and Eugene's storyline or connection, because it was this very fun, enjoyable storyline where Eugene, the only member of his club, B club or whatever it was, I forget the name of it, only member of that club, had no friends, I guess you could say, an outcast in a school of outcasts. Deja vu. I feel like I've used that to describe some other characters before now that I'm thinking about it. But but he had nobody, and then Wednesday came around, who is very antisocial, does not like people, also has no friends, but is by choice, unlike Eugene, who wants friends. And somehow she becomes his friend. She cares about Eugene, and it's just a great storyline in season 1. And then in this, they barely interact, and it makes me so sad, because I really want to see more of them interacting, especially because now Eugene, okay, even though the show tries to tell you it's only one summer later, it's still, Eugene is so much older now, and you could tell. So I really wish we had more of them together. And also Eugene kind of feels like a different character, not just because he's older, but also because, like I mentioned before, he was an outcast in a school outcast like Pugsley, and yet he doesn't want to be Pugsley's friend at first for like no reason that I can think of. Like, it's not even like, it'd be one thing if Pugsley did something that got him in trouble for no reason. I mean, I guess you could say the thing with Slurp, but I don't think that was a good enough reason, especially because I don't think Eugene actually got in trouble for that, to my memory. So I just feel like Eugene's character could have been done better, and I would like to see him interact with Wednesday more than he did. But hey, what are you going to do about it? So when we move into the final episode, one of the things that I first wrote down about this episode is something that I really liked between Agnes and Wednesday, even though they had some ups and downs, is when Agnes's dad is there to pick her up, and she mentions the fact that she was a mistake. And I just love Wednesday's response to it, where when she calls herself a mistake, Wednesday just goes, gunpowder, penicillin, and the rack, those were mistakes. And I was just like, that's just such a Wednesday thing to do, such a Wednesday thing to say to make Agnes feel better, and it does. It makes Agnes smile. And I'm just like, Wednesday tries to hide it, she cares about Agnes too. She cares about her creepy stalker fangirl. But I'm okay with it. And also, Agnes outright says it too, and I agree. I really enjoy this trio of Agnes, Enid, and Wednesday, and I hope we see more of them in the future of the show. Moving on, I want to get into, because we get into Thing's backstory. Yes, we actually are diving into a backstory for Thing. It's something that I was like, I kind of want a backstory for that, but I understand them not telling us backstory. And I don't have too much, I don't know if they ever gave Thing a backstory. I don't know if this is, I think it's completely original, but I don't know if they like completely changed things or what. But pretty much we have little seeds of it where Thing has this ring that he doesn't know where it came from. He just knows that he had it before being with the Addams. And like I said before, he went to that therapy group, or that you know what I mean. And then it's revealed that he was actually Isaac's right hand, which was crazy. So they were able to they get Thing, and he puts Thing back on his arm. And it's just this crazy reveal that apparently when Morticia saved Gomez, she chopped off Isaac's hand, and when the Thing exploded, not only did it kill Isaac, but it also made his hand sentient, and it became Thing. At least I think it was the explosion that brought him back to life. I feel like that wasn't very clear, but yeah, and that's how Thing came to be. And I thought it was kind of cool. I was okay with it. We'll get to more about Thing and being reattached to Isaac later, because we kind of get to our finale here, where Wednesday, when I forgot to mention, Wednesday does get buried alive by Isaac. But Agnes and Enid go to help her. Enid, who's been dealing with this storyline of she's actually an alpha, which means that if she has to be careful, because if she goes werewolf on a full moon, she could be a werewolf permanently. So it's a full moon, but the only way to unbury Wednesday is for Enid to become a werewolf. So she's perfectly okay with taking that risk to save Wednesday. She does. She turns to a werewolf, digs up Wednesday. Wednesday says she actually quite enjoyed being buried alive, because of course she would. That's something Wednesday would love. Enid runs off, and then Wednesday goes into our final battle. Sticking on Enid for a little bit. Earlier on in season 2, because Wednesday also found out that Enid was an alpha through the body swap story, and Enid brings up the fact, brings up if that happens to me, would you keep looking for me? And Wednesday comes up with the most Wednesday response ever of saying, I would happily hunt you, because apparently other werewolves would hunt alphas also. Wednesday said she would happily hunt her, which is really Wednesday's way of saying she would look for her, which is set up for our ending. And then we go into our final battle, where, let me see if I look at my notes. So pretty much, Tyler's mom says that her time is done, so she tells Isaac to do the procedure on Tyler instead, even though Tyler does not want to. He likes being a Hyde and doesn't want to stop being one. But they strap him down. Wednesday and her family are able to sneak in. She's got an axe. She has the chance to kill Tyler, and Tyler even says, do it, kill me. And Wednesday raises the axe. She hesitates. She swings the axe and sets Tyler free. She doesn't kill her. Tyler questions her, and Wednesday goes, I missed. Which I don't believe. This makes me question a couple things, because we don't have a pretty clear answer as to why she let him live. Does she actually still have feelings for him, like from season 1, because they were a thing in season 1? Does she still have feelings for him? Or is it for her own selfish gain, just because she thinks she could use Tyler? Or is it because she just finds Tyler and his mom's drama entertaining or something like that? Or is she telling the truth and she actually missed? I doubt it, because Wednesday never misses, but I guess it's a possibility, but I don't believe her. But that's very interesting that she let Tyler live, especially because it's Wednesday. So, very interesting. Tyler turns into a Hyde, and so does his mom, and they battle. Tyler's mom is about to fall to her death. Tyler reaches out his hand, but his mom denies it and lets go, falling to her death, dying for real this time. At least so we think. I mean, you never know. Although we did see the body, so normally that means they are dead. And then Tyler runs off. And then we have the final battle with Issaic, where he's about to kill Wednesday, but Thing regains control. And we get what's kind of funny because well, first, Thing flips off Issaic, because of course he does. And then we get literally the final battle I could describe to you is literally, why are you hitting yourself? But somehow it's not like over the top goofy or cringe. I don't know how they were able to do a third act of why are you hitting yourself and make me care. And like, yeah, get him, Thing. So that was awesome. And Thing wins by ripping his mechanical heart out, literally. Thing detaches from Issaic and goes back to the Addams. And he is in Addams. He no longer cares about where he came from. After the final battle, we do get a scene where he has that ring that we saw was Isaac's ring. And when Wednesday's talking to him, he flicks the ring away, and Wednesday smiles. That kind of hit me in the feels too, because like they're together. It's Wednesday and Thing against the world. Loved it. And now we get to the closing. The show's closing. Now the show is closing out, and we get to our cliffhangers pretty much, and we have multiple plot threads going on. Because we have Tyler goes with their music teacher, whose mother was a werewolf, but her dad was a Hyde. She claims that if he joins a Hyde, Hyde pack, he'll no longer need a master. So they continue with that. Agnes has this interesting line where she says Nevermore is Nevermore. So I'm questioning, is Nevermore done for? Is Nevermore going to close permanently? I thought because we went through this with season 1, accidents happen, principal dies, but we just get a new principal and reopen. Are we not doing that again? Is Nevermore gone? Is Nevermore closing? I'm very curious. I feel like that wasn't very clear. So maybe season 3 there is no Nevermore Academy. We shall see. Eugene and Pugsley actually do become friends. And then the two biggest ones, in my personal opinion, is one, we actually do see Wednesday's aunt, who is locked up in the basement of Grandmama, and we see her writing, "Wednesday must die," in something red, maybe blood, maybe paint. I'm leaning more towards blood. And we don't see her face, probably because they don't have an actress to play her yet, or maybe they just want to keep that a surprise. But just her design, like, just seeing her from the back, she kind of looks very creepy and terrifying. And we even see where she does this quick look up, but you don't see her face because Wednesday has a vision of her. It's very creepy. And then the other big one is that Wednesday does not go home with the rest of the Addams. Instead, she calls up Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester, Thing, and her are going out to look for Enid, like she promised Enid she would. And the very last note I wrote down here was, don't make me wait another 3 years for season 3 Netflix. My goodness, with 3 exclamation points, by the way. Because there's so much more cliffhangers than last time. Last time I feel like they did such a good job. Like, they concluded the season, and we had one lingering plot thread that was literally introduced at the end of the season for season 2, that being the stalker. This one, there's a bunch of stuff that's still lingering that were started as far back as the first episode or so. Now, I think that the season does do a good job at the main story that they were telling, which I would argue is Tyler's family, his mom, and Issaic. I feel like that is like the main plot, and then I would say that Morning Song is the main side plot, and both of those were concluded. So it does still feel like a conclusion, but it definitely feels like a chapter 2 or maybe even a part 1 of whatever season 3 ends up being. Although I will say I really hope that for season 3, I hope they cut back on the amount of side plots that they have. because to me there was so much going on in this season, maybe too much. Now some of it, like the zombie side plot, did tie into the main plot, but it's just other plot lines. Like there's a couple of stuff I didn't discuss because I forgot or wasn't interested enough. Like I barely touched upon the rom-com drama with Enid just because I didn't care enough, and it just stuff that it was there. So like I hope they cut back on how much they have in this season, but overall I still really enjoyed it. I think part 2 is much better than part 1, but I think it helps that part 2 we're really into the story, we're into the mystery, here we go. But like I feel like almost the Raven Killer was there for a little bit. Like I wonder if the Raven Killer maybe could have been cut out, because it wasn't really a big reveal, because to me the reveal of who the Raven Killer was kind of underwhelming. Meanwhile, and plus once we get to part 2, the first episode, she's just, oh, by the way, she's dead. So I feel like they could have done something a bit better there. Maybe cut that out. Then we'd have a little less plot lines going on. But yeah, I still really enjoyed this season, and I still cannot wait for season 3. So part 2 is better than part 1, but as a whole, as a season, it is good, but not as good as season 1, in my personal opinion. But I love season 1. And yeah, dude, I've been talking for 45 minutes about 4 episodes of a TV show. I need to shut up now. But yeah, so overall, final thoughts. I really enjoyed this season. I enjoyed part 2 much better. And I still just love these characters, and the character arcs are still my favorite part about this. Like, for example, I didn't even bring up the fact that at the core, this really kind of is a mother-daughter storyline. Because, like, I feel like the major storyline for the story is that Wednesday and Morticia are at odds, and Morticia and Grandmama are at odds. And then by the time we get to the end of the season, Morticia and Wednesday are on good terms, and even Morticia and Grandmama are on pretty decent terms. So, like I said, I love these character arcs and the characters. It's probably one of the best part about the show, and the second best part about the show is this world and the atmosphere that they just nailed, and it continues to be great here. So yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens next. I cannot wait to see Wednesday, Enid, Agnes, and Thing again specifically, and Tyler. I'm very curious what they're going to do with Tyler also, to be honest. So yeah, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, please hit like, because if you are still watching this video, and we are past 45 minutes, this is almost an hour long. This might be an hour-long video. I don't even know. If I don't shut up, it will be. But if you made it this long, if you are still listening to me blab on, you really need to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, because you obviously like hearing me blab about pop culture stuff for way too long. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when I post, and go live. And tell me what you thought about Wednesday Season 2, Part 2, or as a whole down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And I will talk to you guys next time, where I will probably have a new favorite show. Because something else will come out. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye.